And people are actively trying to take this from us, right? I'm going to show you a great example. Two great examples of how they're trying to take entertainment from us, okay? Two great examples of how they try to take this from us. And we've seen it this year. One of them is proms, and the other one are our graduations. During graduations, we saw a bunch of people get up, start dancing and celebrating, which is our form of entertainment. We saw prom. We saw all of this extravagant, outside the just norms, which is also a form of attainment. See, people don't look at the skill set. They downplay the skill set of the curation of these proms and the prom outfits. See, some people look at it and they go, oh, you got your priorities messed up. And maybe that's true. But you got to look at the skill and the mind that went into the curation of some of these outfits and the video edit, just the whole thing. So although we do not own the music industry, I think it is understated how much of the entertainment we do own. See, people like to say, oh, they own the networks. They own the record labels. Okay. What about the record labels we own? For people a few generations out of slavery, I think we're doing absolutely phenomenal. For people who are emulated and copied, I think we're doing absolutely phenomenal. There is a ton of potential for the NASA, Black Americans, Africans in America. There's a ton of potential for us to do even more. I was talking to a lady the other day in one of Doe Dube's Twitter spaces, and she was talking about preservation of culture. And I said, I realized that's exactly what it is that we do here in the Griff Report. What we do here in Hotepistan is cultural preservation, all types of cultural preservation, right? All types of preservation. And it got me thinking. It really, when we had that conversation, it really stuck with me, you know, this concept of preservation. Anyway, when we look at the AI industry, and people say, well, black people don't own the AI. It's true. It's true. We are definitely not leading in AI. We're not leading in AI. But I think it's when economics, in economics, there's ownership, there's control, then there's participation. And I think we don't lag in these industries in ownership. I think what we lag behind is participation. See, ownership is one thing, but at the bare minimum, we need participation. We need participation in Wall Street. We need participation in crypto. We need participation in, and then through through pushing participation, you'll get ownership.
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
But we first have to get our people into these industries and participating and understanding them. That's why I want to make sure I show people, hey, yo, here's what's going on with AI. I got my homeboy. He got his pizza spot. He got the greenhouse, his venue. He got his own venue, and showing him the AI because I know he doesn't keep up with that type of stuff. He's shaking and moving, doing some other things in the real world. Not really a social media guy, so. We first have to push for participation. So when we look at the music industry, what we see is a huge amount of participation. And we're starting to see more ownership. And, we look at this Indian as an example, his $150 million empire. And we say to ourselves, oh, this is what we should strive for. I don't disagree with that. But the issue isn't the industry. It's not economics. It's none of that. It's culture.
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
Our culture isn't built like Indians. Our culture isn't built like the Sikhs, like the Muslims, like the Vietnamese. You see, we are native to America. These other cultures are not. So when they come here, they can't fit in. So what they do is out of necessity. It's out of necessity. The Vietnamese, you go get your nails done, they don't even speak English. They ain't got no choice but to do your feet. They can't read, they can't speak, they could definitely add. Same thing with the Indians. I'll show you how participation leads to ownership. When we talk about the IT field, what we see is a massive amount of Indian participation. And that participation leads to CEOs of Google with people like Sundar Pichai. It's because their people decided that they were going to participate in IT. And most of them are terrible at it. Most of these Patels are terrible with computers. I got to tell you, if you don't tell them, like if they can't read it out of the IBM manual, they'll never figure it out. They're not smart people. Most of them are not smart people. So what we have to do is we have to pause for a second and say, ownership sounds nice, but participation is the first step. Participation is the first step. And that's what we have to push for, is participation in these industries. And artificial intelligence is the new industry. And we've got to push for participation in artificial intelligence. And through that, we will flourish. For example, there's somebody by the name of Timbaland, a producer. And Timbaland has I should probably take this moment to show it to you guys. This is, I still don't know how I feel about it. I'll be honest with you. I still don't know how I feel about it. But Timbaland has been using AI, and he has officially signed his first AI artist. Her name is Tata, an artificial intelligence pop singer. Allegedly, he has a new AI record label, Stage Zero, will combine human input and AI to create new genres of music. Her, quote unquote, is the debut single will be dropping soon. Okay? Now, I don't know, we can talk about how, we feel about that, whatever, but that's called participation. It's also called, as you can see there, participation leads to what? Ownership. He's starting his own record label. That's called ownership. That's called ownership. Okay? So he's got his own record label. And he's had his own record label for a while now. But the issue with black folks is we're American. The same thing that makes you great makes you weak. The same thing that makes you great makes you weak. You see, the Negro thinks he's unique, but he's not really unique. Like, he's unique within the confines of America, but he's still quite American. You see, we're unique, but we're only unique after the daily habits. We're only unique after the daily culture. At the core, the things that matter most in life, we are American. At the core of who we are American before we're Negro. Walk with me. Walk with me, people. Walk with me. You see, when the Orthodox Jew operates his household, there is no TV. When the Orthodox Jew operates his household, there is no dating for his children. He wakes up at a certain time and he goes and he studies his religious text. The Negro has no religious text. The Negro does not have his own religious text. The only thing the Negro has is stepped on Western Civ Council of Nicaea Christianity. So the Negro shares the same God as the white man. And you expect yourself to be unique, but you share the same God as your so-called enemy. The Negro's other option is Islam, the long enemy of the African through Arab civilization. So the Negro, at its core, has no uniqueness. Has no uniqueness. The Negro diet is the same as the American diet. The Indian smells like curry. See, the Indian got his own diet. The Negro has an American diet. And the American diet isn't conducive with the Negro body. The American diet isn't conducive with the Negro body. That's why the Negro is dying. That's why the women have lupus. That's why the men and women have diabetes, high blood pressure, and heart disease. Because the Negro doesn't have his own culture, he has an American culture. You see, the Negro comes from Africa where diseases followed a path of natural path. But the American Negro looks to the white man to cure his diseases through Big Pharma. The Negro goes to the white doctor. The Negro comes from a culture that resolved their health issues through plant life. But the Negro doesn't go to plant life. He goes to the white big pharma who duplicates and extracts plant life, turns it into pills and feeds it to the Negro. So when you tell the Negro, hey, you can get these plants, the Negro gonna look crazy because the Negro is now an American and he only believes in the white doctor with the lab coat and the pill. See, the problem with the Negro is not ownership. The problem with the Negro is identity. The problem with the Negro is culture. The Negro don't even trust himself. The Negro don't trust his ancestors. The Negro don't trust the land he came from. The Negro's financial habits mimic an American culture. When you go to an African wedding, they throw in dollars. When you go to an American wedding, they bring you a juicer. When you go to an Italian wedding, it's money in envelopes. When you go to a Negro wedding, the couple leaves with debt. When the Jew celebrates his holidays, birthdays, etc., he gives appreciating assets for gifts. The Negro gives depreciating assets for gifts. So if we bought our family Bitcoin and gold, or on Mother's Day, instead of giving them flowers, something that's going to die, watch your money wilt away, literally. Other cultures are giving appreciating assets. So if you want to know what's wrong with the Negro, it's not ownership, it's culture. It starts right in your home. The other cultures don't give their kids. Silicon Valley don't give their kids iPhones and iPads. But the Negro and the American does. Mark Zuckerberg doesn't give his own kids access to social media, smartphones, smart devices, because he knows how terrible they are for a child's mind, but the American Negro does. Then you wonder why the American Negro cannot compete with these other high society groups. Because your culture's screwed up. Your culture is literally designed by corporate media. Now your culture is designed by corporate media, and guess what else is designed by corporate media? Your politics. The Negro's politics are designed by corporate media. See, the Negro is locked into corporate media. Corporate media has never been a friend of the Negro. No matter how far back you go, you will never find the media in lockstep with the Negro. But the Negro still relies on corporate media to give them political information. And you wonder why you still don't get nothing politically. So the Negro does not have its own political culture. It doesn't have its own media. It doesn't have its own diet culture. And it doesn't have its own religious culture. And people want to talk about ownership? How about you own your family first, nigga? How about you focus on designing a new culture? This is the dream of Hotepistan. A new world, a new way. We will redesign religion. We will redesign finance. We will redesign politics. We will redesign entertainment to give the youth a better way.
I wish all the black people were as smart as Hotep Jesus. And I wish all the white people were as smart as Hotep Jesus. And I wish all the